Hey guys, this is Callum from EnglishShooting and welcome back to the channel and the Bluefield Sports Gun Room. It's going to be another optics video today. It seems like there's been a fair few over the past few weeks, but that's because I'm trying to find an alternative to the Razor HD Gen 2 from Vortex Optics that I currently have on my mini rifle. I'm looking for something a bit lighter, hopefully a little bit more compact, while still packing the same punch as the Razor HD. So we've had a look at the new Gen 3 1-10 that is a little bit lighter and it certainly packs more of a punch in terms of performance, and we've also had a look at the Trijicon MRO HD. Whilst you will need an optional magnifier with that to get any sort of magnification out of it, I have had good success with it and I'm very tempted to go with that for my mini rifle optic of choice. However, there's a little bit of a wild card that has been brought into me. This has been very kindly lent to me for the purposes of review, and this is a Specter DR Elcan. Now, you're more likely to see this in a war zone than you are a practical mini rifle competition, but there might be something here. Both Connors and I, from initial testing, are very impressed. Yes, it's not exactly the nicest thing to look at out there. It's very chunky, very big. It's certainly chunkier and more knobbly than the Razor HD. But with the integrated quick release mount, it is actually less weight. So this comes in at about 660 grams, whereas the Razor HD is closer to 600, but that's without a mount. When you add the mount on it, this complete package is lighter. What is the Specter DR? Well, the dual roll signifies that it can be easily switched between a ×1 magnification to a ×4. And this is really, for me, one of the biggest selling points of this optic. I don't think there's any optic that I've reviewed that can switch magnification that quickly. The powerful thing about the Specter is that there's no difference, apart from the magnification, there's no difference with eye relief between the 1 to 4 times power. So effectively, you know, your position on the stock, the way you're looking at it, the way it presents itself to you remains exactly the same. The other big selling point of this optic is the field of view. Seriously, it must have the largest field of view that I've ever tested on an optic. You will see that it's mounted fairly far back on the gun, and really you need to get right up onto it. You can see how close my eye is away from the optic. I turn it down to ×1, but just like the Razor HD, the case seems to disappear. Whilst it's fairly knobbly and chunky and big, when you start looking through it, it just disappears, and you can see so much through this optic, which for fast target acquisition, that's what the MRO is intended for, that's what the Razor HD is intended for. I think this absolutely wipes the floor. If you were standing at the back of a mini rifle stage, you are going to see more of the stage through this than anything else. It's also illuminated, and you have two different options of illumination alongside all of the different brightness levels. You can either have the whole of the reticle illuminated so that you can still see hold off points, you can still see the whole reticle, or you can just have it as a dot. So you can use it as a red dot, or you can, in lower light conditions, use it for those long range shots. A nice little feature as well, which, to be honest, I would probably just remove, is the iron sight. So obviously, being designed for war zones, if something was to happen to the main optic in there and it was unusable, let's just say it ran out of battery at the very least, you've got these iron sights on top that you can pick up a target with. It's not the most efficient way, but it's going to get you out of a sticky situation if the optic dies. So whilst it may seem like an absolutely bonkers choice for optic for mini rifle, I really do think there's something there. Taking it down onto the plate rack, using it down the range, it's living up to the speed of the MRO or even the Razor HD. And I think the reason I'm using both of those is because I think it really does fit in between them. It's not, it is a scope, but it's not exactly a scope, and it's sort of a red dot, but it's not exactly a red dot. It is for me like an MRO and a Razor HD had a baby, and this was the monstrosity that came out. But whilst it might look unwieldy, it might look a bit silly, it is very tempting to go and run this in a competition and see how it performs. Yes, you don't have the ×6 magnification or even the ×10 magnification of a Razor HD Gen 2 or Gen 3, but the 4 is going to be better than the ×3 magnification you get for the external magnifier with the Trigicon. So if I'm going to go for the Trigicon, I'll probably move over to this with the Razor HD. Well, I'm trying to get away from it. The fact that this is so big and bulky is a minus for me, but it is overall lightweight. Talking about the integrated quick release mount, now the person that brought this down has said, and I've tested this, that it holds zero incredibly well, and I can confirm that. Taking this on and off the rifle does not affect the zero, so you can take it off for storage. Again, it's military, it's meant to be used by military personnel. You drop it down a flight of stairs, it's gonna just brush it off. These things are just like tanks, so you can take it off, do with it what you want, and then when it comes to competition, you can just mount it straight back into place, just like that. Again, for a competition optic, not necessarily a huge deal, but if you're traveling across the world and you want a small case to put this in, it is going to help being able to detach that and also not worry about losing zero. So overall, I'm very, very impressed. It does seem a little wrong to go for something like this for mini rifle, but when you actually sit down and put pen to paper of the advantages and the cons of it, there aren't actually very many cons. I like getting quite close up to the optic. It just means that I'm not focusing on anything else. I'm just, I've got that huge window. I also tend to like to put my cap over the optic. Again, that can help with glare and the sun. So everything does seem to be right on paper about this. And again, taking it down the range, it's just whether you want to go a little bit tactical Timmy, but it could offer the performance benefits to maybe brush any of those accusations off. In terms of the cost, this is where it's going to get really interesting. So you can get these in the UK. One of the places I found that sell these are Landtac. They are about £2,200. So if you were grimacing at the price of the new Razor HD Gen 3, you're actually saving like over £100 going for the Gen 3 over this. So this is a seriously expensive bit of kit. However, where this one came from was actually military surplus. Having been used in the military and they're always upgrading and changing their gear, well, we were told that this was a fraction of the RRP, which again will probably make it closer to or below a Gen 2 Razor HD, or even knocking on the door of the price of a Trigicon MRO. So if you go and pay full retail, I think you're probably best going for the Gen 3 Razor HD. If you can pick one up cheap enough through surplus, then there could be a good option there for mini rifle. I need to do a little bit more shooting with it personally, but for this review I can say it's most definitely an option. Whilst it might look a little bit weird, everything's there to make it a great rapid optic for mini rifle, maybe even full bore IPSC shooting or even 3-gun. But there we go, guys, my quick review of the Specter DR by Elcan. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. If you have enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and make sure you're subscribed for future videos. And as always, guys, I hope to see you soon.